How Kana brought back the sun, the moon, and the stars. The story began when Nihu once crossed the island of Hawaii. He heard the people complaining a lot about their crooked leader, Kahoa'ali. The people were made to serve the whims of Kahoa'ali and his men. They fished and cooked for them. They tended the fields so that they could eat the fruits and vegetables. They labored hard to give them comfort. Niho heard this and heard the people's complaints, and he pitied them. As he walked, Niho saw one of Kahoa'ali's men. Niho felt anger in his heart. He gripped the club that he was holding and knocked Kahoa'ali's man with it. Then he went home to his grandmother and confessed what he'd done. Uli was terrified. She warned Nihu of the great trouble that would come because of what he did. "Go," she said. "Go find your brother Kana. Bring him home immediately. We shall need his help." Nihu set at once to depart, but before he left, Uli requested him to tie one end of a long rope to the post of their house. Then she brought the other end to the rope down to the seashore, where they tied it to a big stone on the shore. Nihu wondered, and who the people who saw them wondered too, but they did not dare to ask Uli. Then Nihu went off to look for his brother. Meanwhile, when 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 Kahoa'ali heard what Uli's grandson had done to his man, Meanwhile Kahoa'ali heard what Uli's grandson had done to this man. "I shall punish Nihu for this," he shouted loudly, "and I shall punish all the people of Hawaii. I shall take away the sun, the moon, and the stars away from the sky. I shall leave the people in darkness. Only where I am, I, only where I am will there be warmth and light." Nihu soon found his brother, and together they hurried back to their grandmother's house. While they were on their way, darkness came, for Kahoa'ali had already taken out the sun from their sky. Kana and Nihu groped their way into the dark, until they stumbled upon the rope that Uli had stretched from the seashore to the post of the house. Thus they found their way to their grandmother's house by holding on to the rope. Inside the house they saw Uli seated by a blazing fire with lights all around her. "So you have come," Uli said. "Kahoa'ali has already taken the sun, the moon, and the stars from the sky. You're the only ones in the whole world who can bring them back. But first, Kana, stretch yourself up if there's any light left in the sky." Kana stretched himself upward until his head almost touched the sky. He looked around and saw a very faint light. He brought himself down again and told his grandmother what he had seen. Then Uli said, "Kana and Nihu, I am tasking you to go where Kahoa'ali lives. It may be hard to find, so look for Luhane Kaikapu first. She is my sister and she is blind. To find her, go straight to the east where the sun rises. The fine rain will fall on you, and coldness will get into your bones. But go on and on until you reach the bottom of the cliff. There you will find Luhei Kaikapu. Tell her that you are my grandchildren, and she will help you find the kingdom of Kahoa'ali." Kana and Nihu started off right away. They went directly to the place where the sun used to rise. As they traveled, they experienced fine rain which chilled them up to their bones. Nihu almost gave up, but Kana picked him up and carried him throughout their journey. Unfortunately, when they came to the place called Kahikea, Niho could not make it anymore and he died. Grieving, Kana wrapped him in leaves and left him under a lulu palm. Then he went on. At last he came to the bottom of a cliff where an old woman was sitting. She was blind. Kana knew at once that she was Uli's sister. Luhei Kaikapu asked, "Whose child are you?" "I am your sister Uli's grandchild," answered Kana. "Why are you here?" she asked further. "I have I have come to get back the sun, the moon, and the stars which Kahowa Ali has taken from the sky. I am the only one who can bring them back. Show me the place where I can find him." "I have no eyes," said Luhane Kaikapu. "I cannot show you the way." "Lie under this coconut tree," Kana said. Then Kana picked off the young shoots from the coconut and yelled and called out, "Luhane Kaikapu, turn your face toward the sky." She did as directed, and Kana poked her eyes with the coconut shoots. Luhane Kaikapu screamed in pain. "Oh, what did you do? You are killing me!" Kana said, "Shh, be quiet, and rub your eyes." So, wondering what Kana had said, the old woman began rubbing her eyes. After that, she cried out, "I can see! I can see!" Luhing Kaikapu thanked Kana profusely, and she prepared herself to help Kana with his mission. "Before I send you into the kingdom of Kahowa Ali, I shall do something with your hands," said the old woman. She got some kukui nut and charcoal, and she pounded them together to make a paste. To make a to make a paste. She carefully rubbed Kana's hands with the paste. "Now," she said, "your hands resemble the hands of Kahowa Ali." And then she whispered to him what he must do to achieve his mission. After that, Luhing Kaikapo set up a fire before him to serve as a guide. The wind after him, the wind and the wind after him to help him on. Those things to guide him. Kana came at last to the land of Kahowa Ali immediately after he had set foot. The fire died down, but the wind still helped him. Kana moved with haste. Kana moved with haste. He soon found the place where Kahowa Ali was. He hid and watched and saw how he removed a great stone, and a big hole opened below. Watching him very intently, he saw how he put his hands into the hole to get food, getting food enough for him and all his followers. Then Kahowa Ali and his men spent the day feasting and laughing to their heart's content. Kana did what Luhane Kaikapo told him to do. He watched silently and observed all the things that he did. When they finished playing and feasting, they all went home to sleep. This was the moment that Kana was waiting for. He went to the spot where Kahowa Ali removed the great stone. He used his powers to lift up the stone, and when it was opened, he put down his hands into the hole. Soon he got food into his hands, plenty of things to eat, but Kana threw them away, and again he put his hands into the hole. He got water, and he emptied the water out. Kana put down his hand again, and this time he got birds into his hands. He took them up and let them fly around, and they cried, "Kaiwi! Kaiwi!" He put his hands down again, and now his hands were filled with stars. He took them up and flung them into the sky, and there they stayed, the stars that we still see up to this day. He lowered his hands again. This time he got the moon up in the sky. Together with the stars, they looked beautiful, Kana thought. Kana put his hands down again. This time he got a single bird. He took it up and put it beside him, and it was the crowing cock. He put his hands down once more, and finally he got the sun. He held the bright sign. He held the bright sun up. He put it in the sky, and darkness was pushed away. The cock beside him crowed aloud, "Cock, cock, 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 cock!" Kahua Ali was awakened when he heard the cock crow, and he went out of his house. He saw Kana standing alone. He saw the bright sun up the sky. Angrily, he clenched his fist and thought of attacking Kana, but he saw how tall and big he was, and he hesitated. When Kana saw that Kahua Ali was afraid, he talked to him in a loud voice. "Kahua Ali, I command you, give me the water of life so that my brother may live again." The evil leader trembled in fear, and he gave Kana the water of life. Quickly, Kana returned to Kahakekeya. He went to the lulau palm where he left his brother Nihu. He poured on him the water of life, and Nihu became alive again. Back to Kahua Ali's place, the subdued leader the brothers gave the brothers a canoe made out of white chicken feathers, and they returned to the island of Hawaii. Kana and Nihu ran to their grandmother's house, and they saw her waiting by the door. Together, Uli and her grandchildren looked up to the sky above and admired the bright sun. At night, they adored the soft glow of the moon and the sparkle of the stars. And never again were those bright lights taken out from the sky. The end.